Good evening, everyone. My name is Julie McAnulty. I'm from the Independence for Scotland party. Colette Walker was meant to be here tonight. The sheriff was meant to be here, but she wasn't able to come, so you've got the deputy, so please don't shoot me. I get the feeling that I'm in front of a very well-informed audience tonight. I think probably everyone in here, I'm guessing, has heard about Freeports and is probably not in favour of Freeports. And so I'm probably going to adapt what I was going to say tonight slightly with regard to that. Now, before I was in the Independence for Scotland party, in a previous life, I was a North Lanarkshire councillor and I was an SNP councillor. And so part of my interest in this is that we, in North Lanarkshire, we already had a run-in with Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, right? So this was back in 2015, when they came to a place in Cumbernauld called Deer Dykes, and they were attempting to set up drilling bits and drill into the ground. And also Jim Ratcliffe, as you may know, has bought up a whole trench of fracking licences as well. Well, we decided we weren't having it, right? And very quickly, the local councillors there, including myself, the local people, and also, to their credit, Scottish Water, got together and told them to get out of the place. Right, we kicked up a huge fuss about it, and because planning law comes mostly under the purview of local authorities, we were basically able to tell them that that the game was a bogey, right? And it wasn't for want of Jim Ratcliffe's men trying, because some of our councillors said that they were visited at their surgeries, right, with maybe wee conversations had and stuff like that, right? But anyway, I'll not get into that. Don't want to get sued, right? But anyway, we knew he would be back. We knew that Jim Ratcliffe would be back, and this is very much my interest in being here tonight, because although we're in Dunfermline, the Freeport, if you have a wee look at the map, is very, very near to Cumbernauld, right, and takes in an awful lot of where those areas are covered by licences, right. And also, as Neil has already pointed out, it's not clear how those companies are going to be allowed to operate out of the Freeport if, for example, Ineos being inside the Freeport area allows him to operate licences outside of that area. This is something we've not been told yet, and it's been very opaque. But what I can tell you without a doubt is that this is basically an asset strip that's going on. I feel there's an acceleration of this going as the support for independence is growing. Okay, and if you look at this Freeport, it's taking in our capital city. It is taking in one of our chief strategic assets in terms of Grangemouth. It is taking in one of our chief ports. That is not a coincidence. And as John already pointed out, the one up in Cromarty is taking in where the hydrogen and stuff like that is going to be. This basically what is happening is the reverse of what happened when we were establishing things like boroughs. Now, I'm from Coatbridge, which was a steel and a coal town. And when I was driving up to Dunfermline tonight, I noticed as it said the Royal Borough of Dunfermline, right? We're just a borough, we're not posh. But for a long time in Coatbridge was not officially a borough, right? And big families like the Buchanans, like the Colts, and other people operated in our area with carte blanche. They could do anything they wanted, basically. And the reason that they could do that was because Coatbridge was not a borough and therefore did not come under local government law and under national law, right? And as it became a borough, things became more regulated and so on. And at the moment, this comes under this kind of thing, fracking and so on, comes under local planning law. And there's also, small matters like health and safety, environment, stuff like that, all of which come under, either Scottish Government or whatever. This is the boroughs happening in reverse. This is like the East India Company going into India, annexing swathes of land, running it exactly as they please, only it's been done to us. And I think there's a sense of disbelief that this is actually happening, that this could happen, because we do have this impression, and the democracy is there. You know, even though we don't think much of our councillors sometimes, and speaking as a councillor, I can entirely sympathise with that point of view. But the democracy is there, and if someone's not pleasing you, you can kick them out. And, you know, if you're concerned about something, you can go along to your surgery. And if we don't like something, to give councillors their due, we can turn round to a company and say, we don't want you here. We're not giving you a licence for this. We're not giving you planning permission for that. Now, the gentleman here has been asking what we're going to do about this. Great question. What we're going to do about it. Now, I'm going to disagree with Neil slightly here. Okay, I do not think that the Claim of Right is an arcane document any more than the Treaty of Union is an arcane document. It still applies, just as the Treaty of Union applies, and the other documents from that time. And we do need, as Sarah said earlier, we do need to dig up all of that, and we do need to start making the case for it and pushing this into the general consciousness. But what I do agree with Neil is that is going to take time. It's also going to take time to elect people who are going to do what you want. And I want to talk a wee bit about the political discourse here, because I was there at the time, and I was in the SNP at the time when all of this was kicking about fracking. And this is what I know about it, which was that the ordinary members in the SNP and ordinary folk, this goes for people who are in the Labour Party as well and so on, were manifestly against fracking, were manifestly against this. And I would hazard a guess that would probably be the same at the moment. I know that at the SNP conference, I think back in 2021, that the members had a vote on this, and they voted against Freeports. At least they laid down a whole list of things in terms of health and safety, that trade unions had to be so on, and all of that's going to be swept over. So that's the good news. There is a consensus underneath amongst what I would call the political class and those who are politically aware to tackle this. But your problem is, as you're saying, is how to contact them and get through this. One of the ways is through meetings, right? Now, the other thing is, we've had a whole list here of councillors and so on that have been read out to you. Now, again, no harm to councillors, but they probably don't really understand Freeports, and they've probably been told what to do. And basically, what I would want every person in this room to do after this meeting is to go and see your council and say to them, what are you going to do about the fact that your planning powers have been taken off you, that your licensing powers have been taken off you, and that your power as a local authority is taken after you? And when they say, what are you talking about, explain to them that this is exactly what the Freeport is doing. That's the first thing that needs to be done. The other thing is, I mean, we have a meeting here, and I'm pleased to see 30 people here tonight. Should be 300, 400, that's what I would like to see. And basically what that's going to mean is that if people won't come to us, then we need to go to them. So I'm thinking, I mean, this is something that maybe we can discuss later when we're having a general discussion. I think we're basically needing to go around doors, we're needing to get leaflets, we're needing to put them through doors. This is not going to get out in social media. Social media is a bubble, you know. Social media can be shut down. We have been, and I'm sure Neil has experienced this as well, and we've experienced this as a party online and stuff, that when we're putting up stuff about sovereignty or Freeports, all of a sudden it gets shut down. It's going really slow, it doesn't get likes, so on. We're being watched. What is happening? It's hard to describe to you how absolutely outrageous this is. And as I say, I think it's as the vote for independence is going up. They're preparing to asset strip, and we are going to be left, if we get our independence, we are going to be left with problems for years afterwards, dealing with these companies and trying to sort this out. We need to do something now. Salvo, which Sarah was speaking for, is pursuing the legal angle, and this is an essential part, and That is going to take longer, but the time to start that process is now. And that is something that all of you in here, if you don't know about that, need to start educating yourselves on, and need to start speaking about to other people that actually this is not right. Nobody, the land belongs to the people in Scotland. It doesn't belong to the English Crown. It doesn't belong to the government either. In Scotland, it is the people who are sovereign. This is the thing. Not the law, not the Parliament, not the Crown. The people are sovereign. We are sovereign. And that is the base of the whole argument, the legal argument. And we are going to have to pursue this. But anyway, I've probably said enough about this. We've all been talking a lot, and I think it's probably time to open the floor for discussion. Thank you very much.